There's always next time.
So, last we left off, you guys um, made plans on how to approach this hag coven that reached out to you. You did end up talking to the leader of said hag coven over scrying. And at the same time, Demir actually decided to look in and see if her mom was there. And while she couldn't tell 100%, she did see her mother around her age or a little younger, sleeping on an elvish style bed with rose vines growing over her. Um, Guys had some conversations with one another, talked about why the oven isn't working for Demir. um, and Demir expressed to Lish that she suspected that maybe Shar was involved in some way. From there, you also chatted a bit with Itri, who encouraged to stay behind. Um, and he said that he's going to spend some time looking over all of the notes and putting together his hypothesis uh, on what is going on, and maybe reaching out to Aldrich if Aldrich is still in town and hasn't yet left for the Turning Spire, um, along with Thalia. Uh, but he did express interest in perhaps joining you on the next leg of your journey um, once you know where you're going and his hypothesis has been worked out a bit more. Um, from there, you guys teleported to the elvish city of Leodorai, um, which is a very fascinating city in structure, elvish in nature, with ancient ruins that have been overtaken by natural growth of the forest around, and the elves then incorporating that natural growth into their architecture. However, not too far away from where you arrived, um, there seemed to be a handful of mages inspecting a strange sort of magenta swirling hole in reality. Um, no bigger than like your bicep if you wanted to stick your arm in it, but they're trying to figure it out. There are some guards kind of ushering people away from it.
Does Demir have more of the shrinky pastries?
I don't think I have any of the shrinking ones. Hang on, let me pull up my eyes.
Yeah, Volk can fly, can't she?
Oh, what?
Oh, if you're gonna shrink, you're gonna want to wait back out of the portal.
Oh, I wasn't gonna go. I was gonna say that we could sell a shrinky pastry to the nerds over there.
Ah,
So we can send a wizard into the hubris hole. Thank you very much.
fair enough.
I don't I don't have one of the shrinky ones, I don't think. At least I can't tell, but I do have some fun ones. So we could sell. I have a little pastry of polymorph.
Well, they could theoretically get small through that then.
Yeah, it turns you into a little bird.
Anyway, that's my dumb idea. Carry on.
Are
Well,
they?
I mean,
could we
Oh.
move closer to them and kind of see if we can hear what they're talking about?
Sure. You can move a bit closer. The guards do seem to be watching you. The folks in the robes are chatting in a language that all but two of you can understand.
What,
Tobias
Elvish?
and Erin, you have no idea what's being said. But yes, they are speaking in Elvish. You are in an Elvish city. They just seem to be chatting with each other and the discussing methods of trying to close this miniature portal. One of the guards, dressed in sort of a dark leathery material that seems to be a similar color of the trees around you, so it's almost like he could be camouflaged pretty easily if he wanted to be. Speaks to your group in Elvish and says, please maintain your distance.
Hawk nods and then turns around, definitely plotting to not maintain his distance. Because we have a small bird of our own that we can use if we need to.
Are you intending on shoving Biog into the hole?
Not the hole necessarily, but if we wanted to like pass notes to the wizards, we could. I can't speak through her, but if we want to sneak away to get close without like message or something, message would work, right?
I'm sorry, you said they were specifically talking about how to close it?
Yeah.
Can I, using my magic eyes, can I see what magic is radiating out of the portal? Is it the same as the hole in the grave?
Yeah, it's conjuration.
Ah.
It's a different color than the grave hole, though, right?
Oh yeah, the grave hole one seemed to be more like dark, kind of almost viscous liquid. This one's like swirly and all sparkly and bright magenta.
Do you know where it goes? Demir is going to ask the guards.
The guard continuing to speak in Elvish.
I asked in Elvish. Sorry.
It says, that is none of your concern.
Just curious. It's a portal in the ground, I mean.
And it is for the best and for the safety of everyone that distance is maintained until we can figure out exactly what it is.
So you don't know where it goes. Has nobody stuck their hand in?
One of the wizards is gonna.
He kind of just looks at you like baffled, like, why the fuck would we do that?
Well, if a mysterious portal opened in the ground of my city, the first thing I'd want to know is where it goes. could change a lot of things.
It is not wise to interact physically with the portal until we know exactly how dangerous it is.
Okay. You're the expert. What can I say? And Mira is just going to kind of walk back towards the group. Like, geez, it's not that hard to stick your head in a portal.
I wouldn't say it's common sense.
It looks a little bit small for most of their heads.
That too.
Does
We
anyone
could offer our services.
Who knows if they'll take them?
They haven't been offered yet.
Fair point.
And then Valk just kindly loudly in Sylvan goes, well, they should probably figure out what they want to do quickly. These things tend to close sooner rather than later from our experience.
you say this in Sylvan or Elvish?
Or Elvish. I don't know Sylvan.
Okay. Roll a deception check.
Why deception?
Because for the last one you experienced like this, you guys had to go into the Shadowfell and fight some creatures, and then encountered a vampire, and then Aldrich had to close the portal from the other side. So you kind of forced it to close.
Well, Valk wasn't there for that. She's just referring to the magical anomalies tend to wink out sooner rather than later. But I can roll a deception if you want, or persuasion. I don't care. Ugh.
Well, if you feel like she's being honest, persuasion check.
Then persuasion, yes. 9 plus 7, that would be 16.
A couple of the mage types glance your way, but none of them really bother to interact with you beyond kind of noting like, oh, there's a bunch of strange people that just appeared and they don't seem to be elves.
When they glance this way, Valk throws gang signs at them.
The guard's eyes all kind of narrow at you. But while this is going on, you guys can see that here at the ground level doesn't seem to be too busy normally, beyond the fact that the guards and the mages seem to be trying to examine this thing. Most of the population, based on what you can gather from where you're standing, seem to be higher up in the trees. But that's not to say that that there aren't people down here, or there isn't anything to do down here. You can see, kind of glancing the way of the guards, but also going about her business, a female elf with kind of dusky dark skin and short red hair that kind of sticks up strangely like a broom that dried at a weird angle. She kind of edges closer to look and see what's going on, and then kind of shrugs and starts following an old but well-worn path towards where she's going. You can also see a guard climbing, depart from the group and start to climb up a rope ladder towards the rest of the city.
Is it possible for me to do like a perception check kind of around this area, like behind us, above us, around, just kind of see if I can't spy anything, maybe small, that may have come out of this portal?
Okay.
Just kind of like looking
roll
for
a perception
creatures.
check.
Huh. 13.
13, you don't really see anything. But as you're looking around, one of the mages seems to cast something by the portal, and the wind picks up a little bit around you all and around the mages and the guards before dying down again.
Interesting. Well, it seems that it's well in hand.
Looking around, is there anywhere that's like from where we're standing, is there like a clear like path towards like a town square? Are we just like in some random street? Are we in the town square? Like where are we?
Looking around, as I mentioned, this city looks like it was once on the ground, but as the forest grew up around it, so did the city. So this is the best way I can describe this is this would be an older neighborhood. There is stuff here if you know where to go and know where to look for it, but it seems that the majority of the thoroughfare, the places to be, would be up in the trees.
Well, Jameer is going to kind of gesture towards one of the ways up, like, shall we get to it? There's nothing we can do here. So,
Do you know where we're supposed to be meeting our contact?
Generally
Ish.
speaking. Kind of know generally where to head from here.
Narafine said that she would send her servant to wait at the edge of Leodorai to meet you, and that you would know her when you saw her.
Well, we just need to head towards the edge and look for something unusual. And Lish will kind of pull his map out and kind of see where the closest edge to them might be.
Okay, it's not too far from where you are.
Val kind of nods and kind of just posts up, waiting to do whatever the party's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was meaning to ask, what exactly are we looking for?
Someone.
How descriptive.
Well, they could look like anything.
Do they know to find us?
Yes.
Suppose we browse until we're contacted then.
They have ways of finding us. I hardly doubt we'll be lost for too long if we do get lost.
Should we stick together then, or have a common meeting point, or?
Do you have somewhere else you'd like to be?
Not necessarily. I've never been in a full elven city before.
Well, thankfully for us, I don't think that we are going up.
See.
Well, thankfully, but it is a little disappointing not to be able to go up and take a look around, but
Well, I certainly don't see anyone around. Why
not here.
Oh,
There
hi.
might be. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Someone said Valkia? Oh,
What did
okay.
Lish say?
I was just saying there's no one here, and they're supposed to meet us around here, right? So why not go explore the city? Could be interesting. There could be more portals around.
We could, but we do have to travel a bit of a way. Like I said, she's not here, or they're not here. We have to go meet them. Perhaps once we're done, we can come back.
Fair enough, I suppose. So where are we going then?
Lish will start walking in the direction he thinks is closest to the edge.
All right. I'll tell you what. Why don't you make a general perception check?
17.
17. Okay. So you start making your way toward where you assume the edge of Leodorai is, just looking up and based off of where you see all of the connected archways in this elvish city above. And from there, you start kind of circling towards the southwest, assuming you're walking around along the side of the border. And just keeping a general eye out. And while you are walking around, you can see the elvish buildings above, and as well as the bits of ancient ruin that the forest has grown up around. At one point, you see a group of elvish hunters, for lack of a better descriptor. They seem to be wearing a similar but different set of armor to that of the guards that you saw earlier. But on their back, you can see that they are carrying a large, almost insectoid creature with sort of a chitinous shell. And this creature is very dead. You can see elvish arrows sticking out of it, and they are carrying it clearly back to the city.
Can I nature check to like see what these are, maybe? Or would that be like a different kind of thing?
Sure, you can roll a nature check.
Sure. Okay. Let me just let the sheet go on. There we go. Nature seemed like the best fitting one here. That's 18.
18. This is a dead ankeg.
A dead. A what?
I've
Say
never
that
heard of
again?
this either. What would Hawk know about them?
You know that they tend to be sort of ambush predators. They live in forested regions like this or in open plains, depending on the type. But they are creatures that are sort of like ambush predators. They wait like 10 feet ish underground to wait for prey to wander above it, at which point they burst from the ground and grab it and snatch and try to eat it. They tend to be kind of acidic in nature, and you can see that there's probably a reason these hunters did not want this creature probably close to their city.
Yeah, I can very clearly imagine why. It'd be hell for trade routes, not to mention just, generally.
Mm-hmm. Let me send a quick picture.
My meds. Oh, Kenzie also found one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My mental image is like a friggin' like Chorus from Skyrim, and I guess that's not too far off.
Yeah, kinda, in a way.
Yeah. Hawk so sort of like audibly muttered to the party, like, "No, Ronkegs, great. We'll have to watch the ground as we go."
Good eats.
Roll a nature check for me,
Who?
Hawk.
I'll do another one. That's a 6.
Okay. You don't know what to look out for these things.
Well, if anything looks out of place, I guess. We've got some very perceptive individuals in the party. They'll probably be able to notice something's off. Fingers crossed.
Speaking of which, I would love for anyone who's trying to keep an eye out for this potential contact of the hag to make a perception check.
I'm glad, but I'll pass.
I'll give it a shot. So you said perception check?
Yeah.
14.
15.
17.
23.
All right. Erin, you said you got a 17?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This was a perception check.
Yeah.
I got a 9.
Okay. Erin and Lish, you can hear a strange sort of music coming from deeper within the woods.
Aaron will
Kind
look
of
over
music.
at Lish. Mm,
Lish will
Is
kind
that
of look to Aaron too.
is that something? Mhm.
Well, it's not nothing.
No, we left something home.
Is it far off or closer by?
It sounds close but quiet.
Well, we could go take a look. It might be our connection.
Don't have anything better to go check out. Mhm.
Can we tell kind of how far we've come towards the potential meeting place?
you're pretty close to the border of the city, maybe a little bit out from it. It seems like it would be a good place.
Yeah, that could just be it. Start kind of heading that direction. Carefully.
All right. Does the rest of the party follow, or are you just letting Lish just go off into the woods?
I
I'm
assume that
following
everybody's
Lish.
coming.
No, I'm gonna leave you to die. No, I'm going alone.
Okay. Lish, with your perception check, you're able to guide the party toward very small clearing of some sort. This space in the woods, it's still at the point where it's well traveled by the elvish folk that live in the city nearby, but doesn't seem as commonly trodden as the paths that you saw closer towards the city. And as you step into this clearing, you can see little clusters of mushrooms and the fallen log. But as you step into the clearing itself, the singing stops. The branches are rustling above.
Can I see if I spy anything sneaking upward?
Roll a perception check.
I'd like to assist him in that if I could.
All right.
Are you gonna roll or?
I'll give you advantage.
That's a natty 20.
All right. Let's see. Let me find the correct description. So looking up into the trees, you can see a creature of some sort with bright, kind of yellow eyes. It seems to be kind of hopping from branch to branch, looking at your group and looking you guys over. And you see a flash of talons and then feathered wings as this creature moves around to look at you all. And then you can see this creature flutter down to a branch where you can see her a bit easier, Lish, and you can see thin limbs and a bare feminine torso and sort of greasy brown feathers. Her legs become scaly and bird-like below her backward knees, and her dirty arms end in sharp claws. Clumps of brown hair kind of fall into her face, and you can see sharp teeth. And in addition to these brown feathers, there's little bits of orange mixed in with her, and more of a tan belly. As the harpy looks down at your group.
I didn't
And
know I
bird
had a
she stays up.
sister.
Lish will greet her in Sylvan, I guess, and say, "Greetings, madam. Are you the one we've come to meet?"
Her head kind of cocks to the side and says, I believe so, yes.
What is your name?
You can call me Vinora.
Vinora.
Grandmother says I am to take you to her hollow.
Well, wonderful.
She kind of like cocks her head to the side and jumps to a different branch, ruffles her feathers a little bit and looks at you guys. How many of you can fly?
But the unfortunate few. But we have our ways. Will we need it?
She kind of considers for a moment and says, we can travel on ground, but it will be slower.
The tree cover does seem rather dense outside of this clearing.
And she nods.
And Lish will look back to everybody and ask, well, what do you think, everyone? Should we walk or take the owls?
Owls might be safer.
Especially with the bugs around. I already forgot their name. I'm dumb.
Bugs you do
Vinara.
not have to worry about when I am here.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay, so Lish will just say, okay, well, I can summon the owls then. And I will bring the big boys
Okay.
out.
So you summon a bunch of owls in this within the woods.
Yep. I make the
Rats.
harpy feel really intimidated. Or not. Maybe she loves it. Who knows?
Lish, you can roll an Arcana check if you want to.
You're muted. 8. I got an 8.
Okay. It seems kind of weird that hags would work with a harpy, but like, none of your business, yet.
I mean, I guess if that seems odd to me. I mean, she said grandmother though, so like
Mm-hmm.
she knows who I'm talking about. I do wonder, Demi, perhaps we should call ahead, just to ensure that we have found the right messenger.
I mean,
I
do
second
you
that
know?
that would be wise.
Yeah, go for it.
You have the orb.
Oh, right. Uh, do you? I can't. I don't. Can I?
You
Can I
have the
try
name.
scrying on grandmother?
Sure. You have you've heard her voice, certainly, and I assume that Lish has described her to you.
I hope. So, yeah, I will. I'll give it a scry. Let's see if I can call ahead.
All right. Well, she does not try to resist. You can see the very large elderly woman with her long unkempt hair and her very creepy face. She seems to be shuffling about let's see. Well, you can't really tell what's beyond her, beyond the fact that there seems to be a few shelves with various jars on them.
We love creepy, vague jars of
Mhm.
things. We stand one queen. Demir will sort of well, grandmother, I think we found your messenger.
Indeed.
We were surprised to see a harpy working with a hag, but just calling to make sure, I guess.
That would be awesome. Little Vinora has been with me for about a decade.
Interesting. Well, I suppose we're on our way.
I would be careful of using the owls that you have summoned. I can see you. These woods tend to be difficult to navigate from the air unless you have my blessing.
Do we not have your blessing with Vinora?
I would need to grant you permission to find my home before you take flight. That would require you to find my home first, which is why I sent Vinora after you.
I suppose that makes some sense.
You have to protect my home from these traveling merchants that pass through my woods.
Very well. I will pass on the message.
See you soon.
Of course. And Demir will end the scry and just kind of look a little like, she told us not to take the owls. She wants us on foot. And she's listening in.
Vinora kind of fluffs her feathers a little bit and seems annoyed.
A little inconvenient, but very well, I suppose.
Sorry, Vinora, I was asking for your sake as well as mine.
We can go the slow route. She seems kind of disappointed. She seems very interested in owls.
I mean, I wasted a spell on these owls. They're not going anywhere. They're gonna follow us to the woods.
Okay.
The March of the Giant Birds.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Crashing through the woods.
I
Like
am so tempted to waste a fourth level spell slot so we can throw an owl griffin into the mix, but nah.
Da 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 da.
We just need
I'll have
Tubby to transform so that we have a giant owl bear crashing too.
I'll just have Biog perch on one of the giant owl's heads, probably. We'll get the full owl entourage. Why not?
All right. So,
Actually, do
marching
need to use
order.
one more. Marching order, fun. Well, whoever's up in the front, Hawk will be in the top 3. I'm a front line boy now.
I think Levy's gonna stick to either the middle or towards the back.
Valk probably takes up the rear guard since Hawk is in front mode.
Tobias will be towards the back as well.
Perception.
Aaron will be up at the front then.
We should probably have
Okay.
some with. Well, hang on. Lenora said he wouldn't have to worry about the bugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we.
Well,
probably
yeah,
don't
but
need to.
Binara also told us that it was fine to fly, so.
I mean, I think she just wasn't on the same page.
It's fine for her to fly, I guess, but we don't have the boop blessing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Lish will be up towards the front, but not the exact front.
Okay.
And Jameer is going to stick between Toby, Lish, Levy, and yeah, so she's kind of in the middle, I think.
All right.
Is it time to pull up the battle mat?
Nope.
Not yet.
Okay.
So, Vinora is technically the one in front, but she is in the branches above, kind of hopping from tree to tree, using her wings to assist her. And you guys can tell that this is a very old forest. The trees are very large. The wildlife, for the most part, at least where you are now, seems to be thriving. Are there any conversations that would like to be had while you're on the road like this?
Lish is just keeping an eye out.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
I think Demir is also probably keeping an eye out.
Bulk
Maybe
is
one as
being
well.
very wary.
Ooh.
I got a natty 1, but it is an 11.
Okay.
Well, I got a 7, so
I got
Oh,
a
so 11.
26.
All right. Let's see. So while you guys are going, there's sort of a sense of unease that falls over the group. It's kind of hard to put your finger on it, but the deeper you go into the woods, the more wrong they feel in a way. And Demir, you notice first that, let's see, your shadows on the ground seem sort of long and thin, seem to be moving in weird ways, as though they've had a mind of their own.
Yep, we're in the creepy woods, guys. Creepy woods. Yeah, she's going to keep an eye on that and just make sure that even if the shadows are moving weird, I want to make sure that they're not, I don't know, moving so weird that they are a problem.
I mean, they don't seem to be problematic.
Cool. I'm just going to keep an eye out just in general. definitely definitely tense, not relaxed.
All right.
Hawk's body language definitely shifts getting to Creepywood because, like, he was, and when we were in the more normal area of the woods, he was like, "Wow, this is really pretty. This is probably one of the oldest forests I've been in, aside from the unclaimed lands up north." And then we reach friggin' Luigi's Mansion level of creepy forest, and he's just like, "Oh dear."
Can I have someone roll a D100?
I can roll a D100 because I already have them all laid out. 35.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Erin, you were up towards the front in the marching order. Can I have roll a perception check, please?
Alrighty. That's not awful. That is a 21.
21. As you guys continue to travel, you are kind of keeping an eye out in the woods, keep looking at Vinora going on from branch to branch above you. And you're also looking around at the various trees. And it seems to be getting weirdly darker the further you get into the woods. And not just because you guys are hiking for hours, but let's see. You see in the distance what seems to be a hooded figure sitting on a stump.
Right. Are they in like the approximate direction that we're walking in?
More or less,
or
yeah.
are they just all right? I'll take note of that. He'll send probably Lish. He'll tap a quick message over to Lish. And said, looks like we might have even more company soon.
The way he's sitting, it looks like his forearms are resting on his legs and his head is kind of leaning forward so that you can't see his face.
Does Lish see this now that it's been pointed out?
Yes.
I mean, does it seem familiar at all?
Not really.
Like a man? Like a big man?
Human-sized?
Seems to be alone.
Seems to be alone. Has not moved.
Can we see any bit of like skin on it, or is it covered completely?
Not from where you're standing.
Lish will kind of look back a little bit and gesture for everyone to kind of slow down. And he'll bring the owls up. First line of defense.
You send the owls to the person, or
just up, kind of closer to the front.
Emotional support.
I think the
owls.
idea is like a palisade of owls, not necessarily to send them in first.
It's a line of pawns on a chessboard of owls.
Exactly. It's like the Roman shield wall, but it's a bunch of feathers.
And I guess if that doesn't, our presence doesn't get this person's attention. No reaction.
No reaction.
At that point, Lish will kind of look at Aaron up by him and kind of look up towards Vinora, see if Vinora has a reaction to this.
She is stopped because you guys have stopped. But she does not particularly bothered by this thing.
Lish will say, friend of yours.
She just kind of shrugs and says, I have not spoken to it.
It. What is our path forward?
Are you asking Minora or are you asking me, the DM? She kind of cocks her head from side to side a bit and says, we continue on. We may need to stop for the night, but I know a safe.
There appears to be like a path beyond this guy, like a clearly defined one.
I mean, as clearly as it can be defined within the deep woods.
Sure.
Minora seems to know where she's going.
Yeah. I suppose we can try to pass by without incident.
She just kind of shrugs again and hops to the next branch.
Yeah, that was more towards like Erin next to him, just kind of contemplating. Well, he kind of shuffles the owls up a little bit more. Like, you guys be the buffer between us and this creature. Trying to leave a wide berth.
Okay.
Do I get any magical pings off of him?
Oddly, no.
Okay.
Lish, I'd like you to make just a general athletics check or acrobatics check for the owls if they're acting as a buffer.
I'm just gonna check in and see if the owls have a specific thing. Let's see. Just 2. 21 for the owls.
All right. The owls are able to avoid touching him if that is what you want.
Yeah, I mean, I want to have the owls kind of. I mean, it's pretty tight around this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess we'll just pass by.
Okay. It's strange because you don't like hear rustle of fabric or anything like you expect, but he just seems to have the same angle towards you guys the entire time you move, as if it's watching you. You don't actually see it move. It's just when you look at it, it looks the same. Like it's watching you as you go by.
Don't like it.
Okay.
We'll all pass by. I mean, unless you want to make us roll for not accidentally touching him.
You said the owls are acting as a buffer.
As much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
The owls don't get any kind of response from this thing?
No.
Ooh.
Someone can kick a rock at him if you want.
I wish to paladin vision.
Okay. You don't get it.
Yeah,
So, that's
Good to know. Well, it ain't demonic.
Biog can go sit on its head.
I mean, are you sure?
I am
I don't-
curious.
No, I'm not sure.
I don't exactly have the materials to bring her back if it kills her, binds her somehow.
Well, speaking as Lars, I'm down for some combat.
Well,
I think it'd be wiser to not mess with this thing if we can get away with it.
we could maybe stumble across something worse. All right, I guess we'll just keep going then.
All right.
Leave it alone if it does not bother us.
No, it just continues to just slide towards you and watch you, but
Glide.
it doesn't. Again, it's not like you were seeing it move. It's just like you glance its way and it's got the same angle facing towards you.
Is it
So-
following us or just tracking our movement
Tracking your
on the
movement.
same spot? Okay.
The best way I can describe it visually is if you're in a 3D space and you just have a JPEG that's facing you and it just rotates to
Yeah,
be
kinda.
always aligned with you.
It's
Pretty
got that
much.
parallax vibe.
Classic Doom.
On.
All right. Another perception check, please, for anyone keeping an eye out.
After that, absolutely.
I'll do one as well.
13.
Speaking of one,
24.
6.
Erin, you got a 24?
16.
Okay. Tobias and Erin, as you continue on, you're noticing that the woods are getting a little colder, as you'd expect in the deep woods with so much shade. At this point, you guys, your eyes catch something on one of the trees. And you guys spot a little, for lack of a better descriptor, Wiccan twig fetish just hanging from one of the branches and just kind of swaying slowly.
Well, that's creepy, but not unexpected, I suppose.
Yeah. Tobias will point it out to the party so people are aware of it, but he's like, probably better we just leave it alone.
Agreed.
Once he pointed out, you notice it's not the last one that you see. As you are continuing deeper, you can see various things of the like hanging from branches. There are twig fetishes. A few places there are rag dolls, and there are various carved figurines just around.
Huck's going to cautiously lean towards Lish and ask, "We do have a hospitable invitation, right?"
We were promised the maximum amount of hospitality that could be offered.
He sort of just nods and goes, "Then we should be safe as long as we don't touch anything."
Were you planning on touching something?
No, but I was concerned that perhaps we were being led through an area that wasn't, I would say, not as safe as it appears, but it doesn't quite appear safe to begin with.
Likely not safe for those uninvited. Isn't that
Precisely
correct,
my thing.
Manara?
Grandmother has ensured that our travels would be safe.
She speaks Common as well as Sylvan. Can everybody understand her? Okay.
She's been speaking in common to you guys this whole time.
Gotcha. Cool.
Does Demir's warlock eyes give us any sort of information on
Yeah,
the creepy doodles?
What do my magic eyes see?
Most of them seem to be mundane. A couple of them have like very faint illusion magic associated with them.
Demir will point out the ones that are magical. But
Wards, perhaps.
or traps for the curious.
Doesn't
They are
seem out of
illusion,
character.
after all.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think there's that fine a line between the two.
Amir, you notice that the shadows are still acting strangely.
Yeah. Still just kind of keeping the side of my eye on that one.
Yeah.
Just
I would love for someone else to roll another D100.
Kenzie, Felix? Either you?
I can roll a D100. That is a 10.
Okay. Hey, good news. If you were a cleric, this would be a divine intervention.
Wow.
Okay. Let's see. All right. At this point in the day, it is approaching dusk. You are just keeping an eye out around just for the sake of safety. And you see humanoid skeleton tied together to form the rough shape of a horse. It's not moving, and it's just leaned up against one of the trees.
Sorry, did you say humanoid bones arranged like a horse?
Yep.
Is
Tied-
it moving?
Tied together to
Or-
look like a horse.
I have a gift for this.
I think you
Is
said
it
it was
just-
still against a tree.
Hmm?
You said it was
It's-
still against a tree, right?
It is still against a tree. It is
Is
not
it
moving.
Why do you
tied
get
to the tree, or is it just like it has like tipped against a tree sort of thing?
Like tipped against a tree.
That just makes me think of a fucking like Halloween decoration that someone was putting together, and they're like, "Oh wait, shit, I forgot one thing," so they just left the horse there to go get something.
Mackenzie.
Is that what it looks like? Does it look like a Halloween decoration just leaned up against a tree because someone forgot something, so they then run back home to go get it?
Kinda, yeah, but with real bones.
Mackenzie, you're reminding me of the Lich House that we saw on the way to the last in person.
Yeah.
Speaking of liches and the undead, I'm going to expend a charge of divine sense. I guess in my case, arcane sense. To see if this is potentially undead or if there's any nearby.
Nope. This thing has no magical aura whatsoever.
Not
Doesn't
yet,
s-
at least.
Well, it doesn't seem to be animated. Although as unsettling as it is, it should be
It's just a
fine.
craft project.
It's one way of looking at it, sure.
Are we moving past it, or is this our campground?
Asking me or Venora.
Asking Venora.
She kind of looks at it and then looks toward you and says, "You can rest here if you like. It will not wake while I guide you back."
Samir is going to look at the group very uncomfortable. Like, can we not?
How much further do we have to go?
She kind of smiles and then lifts one of her talons and then winks.
We have been guaranteed safety, so wherever it is.
Well, I'm good to keep going. What about you guys?
I too would like to leave the skeleton behind.
It's probably for the best that we do.
DM, what are the light levels we are currently experiencing?
It's dim light right now.
Okay. Would anybody like dark vision?
I would love some dark vision. Or I assume we're not in a place where we can produce magical light without consequences. If I'm being offered dark vision.
I mean, in theory, there's nothing that will harm us in the woods. So light should be fine.
If we do need light, I can also provide it. But
We
It's
could also
just-
ask Binora if it's all right.
It's just Hawk and Levy who don't have dark vision, correct?
Tobias doesn't have dark. Tobias is just a fucking human. He's just a human.
He's just a guy.
You don't get it
He's
with your
just a
lycanthrope?
dude.
No, I don't.
yeah,
I don't.
no.
Yeah, I guess Libby will ask
But-
if she can shed some light.
But you're an owl.
I think that the owls have probably gone away at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you've been hiking through these woods for hours now.
No, they're gone.
But Binora will say, "Light may call attention."
That's what I was worried about. Yeah, dark vision. Yes, please.
Well, either we do 2 out of 3, or I gotta use a spell slot. People's thoughts?
What do you mean by 2 out of 3?
I'll pass on dark vision. I'm fine.
You sure, Robot Man?
I am sure, fleshy girl.
Okay. You can see Val kind of do a hand gesture, touches her eyes, and then touches the two of yous. And congratulations. You have dark vision out to 300 feet.
Wow.
So not only do you have dark vision, you have superior dark vision.
Oh, yippee.
Anyway, you got that for an hour, and I can re-up it by casting a spell. So
All right. I would love one more D100 roll for the night.
I'll take this
Got
one.
it.
For this leg of travel.
And red is 10s. I got 17.
17. Okay. Let's see. All right. You arrive in a small glade. It's a gentle brook flows along one edge and gurgles merrily. There are several fruit trees in the center with ripe fruit. There are fragrant flowers in the air, and a gentle, cool breeze sweetening the air and cooling you down in a comfortable way. However, an old body hangs from a limb of the tree, but upon inspection, it appears obvious that they could have stood and not been strangled. It's like the tree reached down and grabbed them.
Does the rest of the scenery match the forest? Or does
Nope.
the scenery match the rest of the forest? Okay. I'm not stepping a foot in there.
No one touch anything.
Do we want to talk to that guy?
I
He's
mean,
dead.
I don't think it's really worth it.
Just making the offer.
All right. So Vinora notably seems to be going around this little glade. It isn't long before you guys are find another spot that doesn't look as welcoming, but it doesn't have a body there at least. There's a little open space where you could start a fire if you so chose. But Vinora says that this is where you'll be stopping for the night.
Okay, well, I mean, at least there isn't a body.
That we can see.
That we can see.
Yeah, that we can see.
Statistically speaking, there's one underneath us, but that's usually true.
There's always one underneath you. Probably
He's
more
just
than
going
one.
to cast minor illusion to just like make the foliage or from the direction that the body was in a little thicker. Just,
Do we have room to set up our fortress?
No. The trees are still too thick together.
Is there any wood around that can be used for firewood?
I mean,
Is it all
there's
right for us
plenty of
to?
trees.
I don't think that's a good idea personally, but
Is it all right to even light a fire because Vinora earlier said that it might attract attention.
Good point.
We should probably keep it down.
That, and I'm not sure how kindly the woods, much less their owner, would take to us scavenging for firewood.
I think this time we should err on extreme caution and avoid it.
Unfortunately, yes.
All right.
Well, it can make things foggier if we wanted more hiding from it, but
You mean
I
more
don't-
creepy ambiance?
yeah, I don't think we need the more creepy ambiance.
Not only would it potentially hinder our sight as well, but we do
Ooh.
also still have.
What does that spell do? Oh, sorry.
Oops. We do also have the assumed protection of our host. So as long as we don't make a fuss, we should be fine for tonight, but I'll still keep watch as usual.
Yes, I can help keep watch as well.
Never
I
sleeping
have
buddies.
Leoman's tiny hut.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, you
How
do!
When did you get that?
It's been recently.
Surprise.
That's cool.
Make us a cool hut.
Yeah, we could totally do that. That sounds great.
Well, it's just a dome.
I mean, it's a very protected dome.
Very protected dome, yep.
Great backup if we can't use the tower, i.e. in this situation.
Do we want the inside to be dimly lit or dark? You're muted.
Can the light be seen from it?
Nope. The outside is opaque from the outside, but clear from the inside.
Perfect.
So, I can change it. So just like, okay, everyone huddle up. At which point Val kind of does some hand gestures and a dome kind of sprouts up from her. And actually no, I have a better description. You can kind of see spectral wings of kind of twilighty stuff kind of come out from her back and kind of spread out and wrap around everyone in a 10-foot radius. And then it kind of solidifies so you can kind of touch it, but you can pass through it since you were inside when it was cast. At which point we now have a 10-foot radius dome of everyone stay the fuck out for 8 hours.
All right.
Plenty of time to sleep.
You can see in the trees up above, Vinora has gathered some twigs and she's made kind of a makeshift nest for herself, more or less directly above the dome. Are there any conversations that would like to be had before you guys fall asleep?
I don't know if Demir will actually take a watch, although I don't know if she necessarily volunteers for it or is just not falling asleep. But I don't think that she's going to be talking much. Just keeping an eye out.
Okay.
Valk,
Perception check down here.
That is a 13.
13. Okay. You don't see anything other than the various things you already noticed. There are still various twig fetishes hanging from some trees.
Oh, great.
There's still the weirdness of your shadows. It's fine.
You know, I'm just going to minor illusion some more foliage over the fetishes. Just, you know.
All right.
you find that you can't cast it through the dome,
Oh, fuck's sake.
but you can leave the dome and re-enter the dome since you were in the dome when it. But you can exit, cast your spell, and return since you were in the dome when it was cast.
You're like periscoping your hands out for somatic components and then pulling them back in.
Honestly, yeah, she might stick her head and hands out long enough to just minor illusion some more leaves.
All right.
Stick her head back in. Just
Any further conversations or actions I would like to be taken?
Valk, you can tell with the dome up, she's much more relaxed and is just straight up reading out of the book that they got from the priestess of Mistra.
All right.
I'm good.
Cool. So, for those of you that do not sleep overnight, nothing really noteworthy happened. Beyond the fact, at some point, a deer stumbled close to the dome. The deer just kind of looks over the dome, and as one of your companions kind of rustles a bit in their sleep, the deer's face slits open with sharp teeth, and it kind of just hisses and then scampers back off into the woods.
Or you could have just done deer wasting disease and it would have been equally creepy.
I don't like it.
But I don't have
like
the
it.
stats for that.
No.
Hawk is very glad that he doesn't have to sleep right now.
Lish like, not my favorite.
All right. Tobias. While you're dreaming, well, actually, what are you dreaming about?
I think with Tobias, because of their environment they're in and like finding all the bones and bodies and things, he's not someone who dreams often, but tonight the kind of inner quotes dream that he's having is more so almost like replaying of memories when he was younger, probably a year or two after he was found by Ofsi, where him and Ofsi were doing body retrievals in the woods. And so him just kind of having I guess I want to say like a run-on memory of like wandering through the woods, finding a body, marking it or whatever, or at least like doing that sort of work.
Okay. So when you are dreaming, at some point you get the impression that the dream shifts a little bit. You are yourself and you are oddly aware of your surroundings here in Leomund's tiny hut. Your companions are resting next to you. Lish and Hawk are awake at this point. But you find yourself frozen. It's like you're still asleep. So it's not quite like sleep paralysis, but you find that you yourself can't move, like your limbs are too heavy. And you can't really hear anything that's going on around you if Lish and Hawk are having conversation, or you can't really hear any of the sounds you'd expect from the forest around you. What you hear instead is the voice of Azhelma, the hag that you had spoken to before. And she whispers to you that she is ready to collect on one of her favors that you owe her. And she explains that she is a generous woman. And she knows where you and your group are going. So she is willing to give you a choice. She explains to you that Nerafine and her coven have this ancient and powerful cauldron made of iron and embossed on the outside with images of bats, toads, cats, lizards, and snakes, 8 of each animal. You can see this cauldron as like very vividly. You know exactly what it looks like. And she says that you can either steal this cauldron from Nerafine and bring it to her, or, and the vision changes, and you can see what seems to be a hand-sewn voodoo rag doll of some sort. It's very weird. It's got like little buttons for eyes, and its mouth has been sewn shut, and then there is like a little chunk of hair sticking out at the top of it, a little brown hair. And it seems to be wearing like a little raggedy dress. And as Helma says, or if instead of stealing the cauldron, you can destroy this voodoo doll that is within Nerafine's possession. But you do need to choose one or the other. And with that, you wake up.
Uh-huh. Okay. Tobias will immediately go to Lish. And I'm assuming Lish is wait, because is it morning time now or is it?
It's pre-dawn.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even if he was like meditating, you can break him out of that. He only needs 6 hours, I think, something
Yeah.
like that.
Tobias will.
We only need like 4.
I would have to look at it. Maybe it's Warforged or 6, and I'm less. I don't remember. Anyways.
Tobias will approach Lish nervously and kneel down beside him and say, Lish, I had a dream from the hag, Ethelda.
Toma.
Itama.
Did you? The timing couldn't be more fortuitous.
She's calling in one of her favors.
Lish will kind of drop his voice even more, kind of looking a little bit up towards the harpy above us. What does she want?
Tobias is going to take out his journal that he had been filling with like monster codex entries and stuff like that. And on one of the open pages, he will write out cauldron or doll. And I'm trying to figure out how best to word this. He'll point to the word cauldron and make a motion of grabbing, and for the doll, he'll make a motion of breaking with both hands.
Both or
One.
either or?
Either or. A choice.
Lish, his fingers kind of tap on his thigh a little, like contemplatively, a little nervously. he'll take the pen and kind of make like a frowny face underneath the cauldron. But kind of, he looks a little uncertain at the doll. I haven't seen that one. I mean, unless DM, does this doll, do I recognize it from when I was scrying on her earlier? Was it hanging somewhere? Yeah. No, he kind of shakes his head. I haven't seen it, but I've seen that. One of these would be more challenging, perhaps, than the other.
I'm uncertain of. You've seen what this one looks like, and he indicates the cauldron. it would be too large.
Yeah, I mean, right, DM, it would be too big to put in the bag of holding. It's like
It would
big.
definitely be very tricky. This cauldron is roughly 3 feet in diameter, 2-foot mouth, and 8 clawed feet for stability. It weighs about 80 pounds. So it'd be kind of difficult to do so on the down low, at least.
Not to
Yeah.
mention, out of character, but logically, she would have this somewhere where she can see it, probably in the centerpiece of her little hovel. Or,
Yeah.
you know,
She's Lish kind of writes this down. She's like, she may also be using it for potion making after we get ingredients for her. Either way, it will be missed.
Tobias nods in understanding, and it based on the expression on his face, Lish can tell that that's about what Tobias expected.
By the way, while having this conversation, the harpy can't see inside the dome.
Can the harpy hear though?
Here, yet I think here, but definitely no on sight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Hence
Just-
why Tobias and Lish are speaking very vaguely and using the book to write things.
Mhm.
still good information to double confirm.
I mean, she
Yep,
seemed
yep,
to be asleep.
Mhm. Raggedy looking pile of feathers on a branch.
Tobias is also concerned about the hag herself because she said that she can see us.
Mhm. We will have to get more information about that second option.
Yes, I feel that would be best. I wasn't going to do anything until I had more certainties, but I wanted to at least let you know first.
We're in a pretty small space, so who's all catching this?
Well, you
I
guys
mean,
are
Tobias and Lish are talking low.
You can
And
roll
it's
a
also-
perception check with disadvantage if you want.
I'll give it a go. $12.
You're not catching this.
When Tobias says that though, Lish will kind of smile a little bit and he'll kind of lean over and give Tobias a little kiss on the cheek and say, "Thank you."
I told you that I considered my options carefully, that I don't fully intend to take any of you down with me.
Don't fully intend.
If something does go awry, focus on getting everyone else out first.
Let's make sure that doesn't happen.
That would be ideal, but it's also important to consider all possibilities.
I will also note that Atoma didn't necessarily give you a time limit for this.
I was just about to ask you about that. And Tobias will let Lish know that there wasn't necessarily a time limit on when I had to complete her favor. I think it was more so the fact that because we're in the area, she decided to reach out.
That certainly makes it a little bit easier for us to put ourselves in good graces. Gives us more time and opportunity.
Ideally, either should be possible for me to do without resulting in my death or losing a part of myself, because that is one of the rules.
Let's just sighs. Ideally, it can be done without knowledge or with agreement in the best of circumstances. To find the value will be key, finding the value of these items. And
I agree.
seeing if perhaps there's something of value. You okay?
Yeah, I forgot I put my phone like right next to my arm, and then when I moved back, I just knocked it right off my desk.
Whee!
Unintentional
the best of
catapult
us.
spell.
Yes, finding the value of these items and seeing if there isn't a deal that could be made potentially. Though I get the feeling these are hard-parted.
Well, I guess all we can do now is just ask when we get there.
Yes, let's focus on this.
We'll focus on Demir's on the first.
And we'll gather as much information as we can.
I agree.
Lish will kind of brush Toby's hair back from his face and say, you should try and get back to sleep. It's still late.
He looks a little hesitant at that. The sun will be rising not too long.
I can't force you. If you want to continue staying up with watch.
Would it be all right if I just stayed next to you?
Of course. Perhaps we'll see another deer.
Oh, you saw a deer? This device was asleep when it showed up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you saw a deer? All hopeful. Stupidly hopeful.
Lish kind of is just like, well, certainly appeared to be a deer, mostly.
Tobias kind of just stares at him with that a little bit of hopeful face, but Lish can tell that it's now shifted a little to, I'm not sure if I want to ask a question. And he just goes, okay.
Yeah, so they'll just stay up and maybe keep an eye out for more disgusting haggy forest creatures.
All right.
Keep watch.
Eventually, everyone comes to consciousness. Are there any conversations that would like to be had this morning?
I'm just going to note that since Hawk wakes earlier than everyone else, the moment he sort of just like shifts a little, sits cross-legged, and sort of just seems to meditate for a second. For a while, actually, while he prepares his spells. You can sort of hear like the faintest of electric hums from within him.
His gears go brrr.
Oh no, not gears, like actual electricity. Like just sort of crackling, perhaps.
Like a
That's not
microwave.
not like the microwave. Like think like a Tesla, like hearing a Tesla coil from about 200 feet away kind of sound. He's not arcing or anything, though. Just wanted to note that.
Demir is going to ask Venora, do you think we'll arrive today, or are we going to be traveling again?
You should arrive this evening.
Do we Demir looks at the party like, do we want a little extra magical help, or
Extra magical?
I have I made these treats. They can give some extra health, I guess, if you need it. I've been playing around with some of my magic, and I think I could give some more temporary boosts if we need them. It just takes a while, I think.
Add a character, what kind of boosts are we looking at
I
here?
can give temporary hit points to people if we need them out of game.
I'm probably okay. I don't know if anybody else wants.
Valk's HP sucks donkey balls, so I would love one.
Sure. Demir will hand out she packed 8 little well, I guess actually only 6. She packed 6 little Turkish delights locum, and she just like she had a little jar, and so she like cuts it up and covers it in like powdered sugar and cornstarch and hands out. She has 6 of them, so I think she will give I think she can give 1 to everyone except for Hawk, because I don't think Hawk can eat.
Because she hates me. No, I get it.
Well, actually, she can give 1 to everyone except for herself and Hawk. Sorry, there are only 5 of them, but you can get 5 temporary hit points if you eat them.
How long does it last?
8 hours. And while she's doing all of this, she's going to spend like kind of 10 minutes that we're eating and getting all that. She's going to go around and while she's giving out the candies, she's going to just kind of talk to talk to people while she does it. And she'll even like check in with Hawk and be like, sorry, I can't give you any candy or anything, but
No,
hopefully.
I understand.
Demir, it's at this point that you notice more twig fetishes have appeared like around your illusion.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, but she's going to spend 10 minutes making sure that everyone is ready and good to go. And so everyone except for her gets 21 temporary hit points per short rest.
Wow. Before she peels away from Hawk, though, he will sort of like grab her attention with like, well, hang on. Are you doing all right?
We are in a spooky woods with a lot of creepy witch fetishes and monstrous animals and fae, so I'm doing about as well as one could in these situations.
I did mean relatively speaking.
I'm fine.
And I will take your word on that. And remember, too, that, well, I guess this is a rather new affirmation, that if something does happen, I will have your back.
I appreciate that, Hawk.
Glad to hear it. Let's hope that my help isn't needed,
Well, let's see what the hag wants to begin with.
Of course. All right,
She
that's all. I'll leave you to it. Oh.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I thought you were done. My bad.
No, I just it sure seems like she is going out of her way for this, so it must be important, whatever she wants.
At least seems that way. It's the first time we've been contacted by a hag, much less a fae, I think. And this is definitely the most protection we've received from one thus far.
I mean, we reached out to hags before, but
Oh yes, but never the other way around. So clearly she wants something, and she wants it very badly.
yep, and that worries me.
It worries me
anyway.
too. Right.
Demir will like give Hawk a little pat on the shoulder. And
He'll nod his head and sort of like pat her wrist back.
She'll go finish her rounds. So yeah, so everyone except for Hawk gets 26 temporary hit points and Hawk gets 21.
Don't temporary hit points not stack?
I don't know.
Does the 21 also last for 8 hours, or?
It lasts until your next short rest. Once per short rest. So.
All right.
I have a delightfully cursed question. What happens if Hawk puts on Valk's amulet? Because that's specifically polymorph magic.
You don't know.
Well, that's an experiment for another day.
All right. Are there any more conversations that would like to be had before you continue your trek?
We'll just greet our harpy guide in the morning. Ask
All right.
if she slept well.
She seems to have slept just fine. She's just doing her thing.
I will offer her some meat rations if she would like some.
She definitely takes them, and you can see, you know when dogs are given like a treat and they like kind of shake their head while biting it. That's what she's
Mhm.
doing.
The
With her
killing
little
blow.
sharp teeth.
Yes, good. And Lish will keep an eye out kind of as we're going for any kind of like potential prey animals around.
Okay. Roll perception check.
Any funky deer again. God, my rolling is bad today. I got a 12.
You don't see anything.
Okay. Okie dokie.
All right. Can I have someone roll another D100?
I'll take it this time around. Oh, and that's an 100.
A 100.
Yeah.
This is either going to be
We're either
really
super
good
lucky
Oh,
or
or
no!
really bad.
Yeah, huh?
I've got no clue
scared.
what this means.
Fear.
Give me a second here.
Mom, I'm scared.
Give me a second here does not induce confidence. The over-under on good bad just went worse.
Look,
Mom, I'm lost in
just
the
saying-
forest and I got super lucky and I don't know how.
I'm just saying, whenever I DM'd, I always put 100 to be the most like absurd and my favorite option. So for killing my players.
I mean, it makes
so.
sense.
And with
Scared.
10 being divine intervention,
I'm scared.
Profane intervention? The Rakshasa
Profane
gives us a flashlight?
intervention.
The Rakshasa gives us a
Mm.
Oh
flashlight.
shit, the Rakshasa showed up.
that would actually be fucking hilarious if you tracked us down in the middle of the woods.
How did you even
I
get
would-
through here? I
Oh,
didn't
I
think
would-
you were
Rakshasa
allowed to
comes
without the
bursting
hag
out of the
on you.
image
forest
of
covered in
just-
burrs.
Well, all I can think of is just like a fucking Rakshasa talking like a hillbilly. Just comes roaring in on a fucking like pickup truck, like, I'm here to fight you. Like,
Erin, can I have you roll another D100, please?
Okay. Not at all terrifying. 46.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to explain to you. So for 100 for the spooky forest encounters, that would mean that you would go to one of the regular random planar encounters. So like the bullshit that's happening with magic falling apart.
Oh god.
Welcome to a rift.
Okay, hold on.
It's not the time or the place.
Quite literally.
Okay. So, a burst of magic happens. I'm just gonna be blunt. You guys swap bodies for 10 minutes.
Oh God!
Who is
Who's-
where?
who
This is
swaps
so
with
important.
Hold on. So, Tobias, you are now in Hawk's body.
Intriguing.
You are in Levy's body. Levy, you're in Valk's body. Hawk, you're in Erin's body.
Oh my
Erin,
god.
you're in Lish's body. Demir, you're in Tobias's body. And Valk, you're in Demir's.
I want to be tall.
Oh my god.
So, that's fun, I guess.
Aaron will reach up and into Lish's hair and be like, ooh, pixies.
The pixies kind of flutter out of the way of your hand.
Is
Did
Bulks-
everyone else
Demir absolutely like is walking along and then stops and is like standing like very, very still, like she's not sure if she'll fall over or not.
is Volk still like in the process of her molt and her feathers growing back in?
Yes, they're growing back in. So your head itches like never before because your scalp surface area is now like 10 to 20 times more.
I'm so sorry, Volk. Libby stops dead in her tracks, much like Devir does, and she starts like not quickly but very firmly patting and putting like significant pressure on all of the itchy spots because she doesn't want to itch.
Also,
But
you
she's
poke
like-
yourself in an eyeball.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
It's at this point, somewhere from deep within the woods, you guys think you hear someone laughing at you, but
That's earned. Yeah, Lily's just gonna. I think she's just gonna. Somebody pause this. Just press pause on this. Press pause on this girl. Like, she has just stopped.
Tobias is probably having a little bit of an existential crisis where mentally, like, subconsciously he goes to breathe, but he can't.
Uh-oh.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Boy.
Also, Levy, you get fucking flashbanged by how you perceive the world is now fundamentally different with having so many eyes.
Hawk better remember to breathe in his new body.
Thankfully he's had experience being a creature of flesh and bone before, so he does remember once he realizes what happens, which still takes like half a minute. Well, not half a minute,
This
but
is
like,
good for you.
like he starts feeling that tightness in his chest. He's like, "Oh, right," and he starts breathing.
Actively has to remember to breathe.
He doesn't need to.
He just
Demir,
And then he notices Toby freaking out, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" He goes over to comfort him.
Demir and Tobias's body, obviously, the first thing that she notices, as you mentioned, was how far everything is, like how far away she is from the ground, kind of. She'll also notice how there's just like an underlying tension and stiffness to his body. And depending on like how she moves slash she can always feel the kind of scars on his back tugging on the skin a little. She also noticed that his left thumb, the one that he has pricked so many times, the area around all that scar tissue feels numb.
Yeah, that makes sense. Demir. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
No, Demir is just like standing there slowly turning around and realizing, wait a minute, I'm in Toby. And then looks around and looks over at herself and just, Tobias? That all Volk's doing is just.
No, I have questions about how much of Demir's bullshit transfers over.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question.
Curses from gods, warlock pacts, needing to be a sneaky bitch.
You
Yeah,
are
is that in
still
her
you,
body?
but you are in her body. It's just like your physicality has changed.
Okay, so I don't accidentally get spoilered on Demir's little problem.
I mean, we're not near any unnatural flame, so. Or natural flame, so.
So Lish wouldn't feel two different kinds of magic running rampant through Levy.
Although you, Lars, Volk does feel, I mean, I guess any body is going to feel significantly weaker, than her own, but definitely there's been some like strength sapping and just overall kind of body fatigue, but you're not really sure if that has more to do with the fact that she's been carrying a lot of stress in the past 48 hours or what that has to do with anything. But there's definitely like her body is so damn tense when you get into it. It like you're surprised she hasn't cracked a tooth, you know?
Just like I simultaneously feel ultra weak and ultra high strung. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing to your body?
I've been a little stressed.
I can't exactly blame her.
Meanwhile, Levy in Volk's body is pulling out all of her coping mechanisms that she went to therapy to get, and they are putting into work right now. Because having a whole other being's like extrasensory shit, I don't like it. She don't like it.
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
Also,
she's coping is what she's doing. No, well, I guess the Kalashtar thing would be inherent to her bod, so Lish gets to deal with being a dream thing for the moment.
Can I hear people in their heads at all? What can I hear or see or anything?
Oh god, I was wondering about Arnold myself.
You have to
Lish gets fucking flashbanged.
Do I get flashbanged with? Okay, good.
But her rings are also part of her body, are they not?
Her rings?
Runes.
Oh yeah.
So you've got that magic going, I
Well, what does
guess.
that do?
Uh, it's literally just tied to her sorcery points, more or less, but it's also a physical feature, so I guess you get it, but also don't? Question mark? Because classes? I don't.
If I remember correctly, the runes on Rune Child just like I think they're just there, but they start glowing when you cast a spell. I might be
Yeah.
wrong.
So, I would like to say that in the case of rune children, given that sorcerers gain their ability technically from their blood, I would say, Lish, you can start glowing now if you want to.
He
that.
doesn't. He doesn't know. Like, I mean, it could start doing it
He's
automatically.
gonna
'cause he
start
just-
raving, you know.
He doesn't know. He's just kind of like his first impulse is to be like in a teen movie when they do the body swapping, and he's just like, oh, like sort of. Like,
I mean, go ahead. I mean,
It's not like
it's
you
not
haven't
like
seen
he
him before.
hasn't seen it before.
he's been kind of like strutting a little bit, just like this is
She's worked
nice.
very hard on that. Come on. Yeah.
He seems like happy about it, and he sees himself across the way, and he's just like, "Oh, hello."
Yeah, Aaron is just over there doing his best, like, haughty noble walk. Like, ooh, 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 I'm all hot shit.
He probably feels
Insight
pretty
check!
good.
I feel like Levy would probably maybe snap out of it just a little bit and go, I need to locate my body, and look over and see Lish like checking it out and be like, somebody hit, like, she's hit pause again. She's just standing there like, okay, oh god. I presume though that her warlock pact with Mistra has transferred over with her though. Okay, well, Valk has some cool new, very subtle star freckles for the time being.
I was gonna say Aaron probably feels pretty good to not have a bunch of scar tissue all over his everything. So he probably is.
Yeah,
like,
Aaron looks like he's having a really good time. Aaron looks like he's happier being in Lish
Are you
than
like
he usually is being in him.
are
Does
you
my
actively
14
being all like I'm a prince, like out loud?
No, he's not saying anything, but he's very obviously not moving like Lish.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when Demir, like, immediately after locating her own body is definitely and locating her, like, yeah, trying to locate bodies, sees Lish walking around like that, and does a 14 insight tell her who is in him?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah. Definitely.
Other people don't pull this kind of shit.
Aaron.
Guilty as charged. And he's going to reach out and tap his ear and think, who ended up in you? While staring at himself. And it is going to take him multiple moments to realize that he does not have his earrings of message and that didn't do anything. Who got me?
I don't know. Who are you? Hawk says in Aaron's body.
Aaron here, and he'll do a fancy little curtsy.
Does your body always tingle like this? This is really unpleasant.
Oh yeah, that's you get used to it.
I guess so. Tobias, are you holding
Oh
up
yeah,
okay?
that must have been a shift from normally being, well, metal.
Lish to Aaron in his body is like, you could try and turn into a dog.
Yeah, he's gonna try to turn into a dog.
Okay. So Lish, what does your wild shape process usually look like? Do you like imagine yourself as the animal, or what does that feel like? What does that do?
Very like natural to him to like kind of feel like he's kind of like pulling up the dog inside of him, I guess is the best way I can explain it. Like he's got like this feeling of a certain nature to that animal that he has kind of throughout his life, and so it's just like pulls up like that feeling, I guess, of
Okay.
I'm gonna bring the dog side of me out now. Here I go.
So you'll probably have to walk Erin through that a bit.
So imagine yourself as a dog, and then
Aaron is going to picture
do
something.
that.
Aaron is just going to think about something and, think about turning him or Bond and like what it is would be like to be something.
All right. I'll tell you what, roll an Arcana check or a nature check.
All right. Am I using my own stats for this?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Ooh, that is a nat 20. For a total 26.
All right. You successfully turn into a dog.
And he's gonna bark out. Whoever's currently Demir, or maybe Demir herself, I don't really know. Can you understand me?
I think that Volk would understand Aaron. I don't know if
is this a warlock ability or a druid ability for you? Or not druid, bard. I'm awake.
It is a warlock ability.
Okay. Then you would be able to understand just fine.
Oh. Yeah, I can hear you.
And he's gonna run over and circle around your really, really long legs currently.
What kind of dog does Aaron pull out though? Usually Lish is like a black dog, but I feel like Aaron would pull something else out.
Oodle. Either that or like a Burmese mountain dog.
Oh my god. I was gonna say, I think he's just like, he's definitely a mutt. He is a very large, like, shaggy brown mutt. Yeah, pulling out the full, like, hair completely covering his eyes. You're not entirely sure, like, where his foot pads are because there's so much fur around them. Yeah, and he's gonna run over to Toby and just circle around her legs and say, "Pet me, pet me, pet me, pet me."
Yeah, okay, she'll pet her. She'll pet him.
I'm just imagining like with Aaron so excited while the dog is just doing like that like sort of gibberish sort of dog talk. A whole bunch.
Oh yeah.
Demir has to definitely like very cautiously kneel down, but then she's doing the whole like big dog pets.
He's leaning on her hard.
Demir is going to look around and be like, is this really Tobias's perspective on all of us? We are so adorable.
Aaron's gonna say, "Oh yeah, I'm sure Toby finds you adorable."
No, I mean like all of us. Like, Demir is going to stand up again and then look down at everyone and just like, you're all so tiny. And then she'll kneel back down again.
You're only a foot taller.
But you
Only
won't have to look
just.
up at him.
Why do I feel like causing problems on purpose?
2 feet really went to Demir's head.
At this point, Tobias is probably like has dropped to his knees on the forest floor and is like scrabbling at Hawk's chest piece before realizing it's all solid and just kind of starting to dissociate as nothing feels real because his body doesn't feel like a human body that he's used to. He's going through it. He's not having a great time. He's like everything is no longer real to him.
I can fix this.
Hawk as Aaron is staying very, very close. And it's probably doesn't help that Toby can probably also feel that sort of like power thrumming throughout him. Sort of like raw magic kind of coursing through his body like blood.
Yeah, whatever sounds Hawk hears coming from his body, it's almost akin to emulating like wheezing. As if someone's trying to pull in air, but it's just making the vocalizations of it not actually doing anything.
Can we all see this freak out happening, right?
Valk as Demir just is all like, I can fix this. Charges herself, just like, excuse me, opens top of shirt, pulls off amulet.
Oh, Levy's just like.
You mean Levy?
Yes. Just like waddles over to Hawk or Toby Hawk. It's just like, try this. And just like, magic word is whatever the magic word is.
So do you take the time to try to attune to this?
Does it take attuning?
It's the attunement slot if the game asked for it, I'm pretty sure.
Can somebody
If
just
it's
cast polymorph?
if it's attunement, yeah, if it's attunement, I'm just going to cast polymorph on Toby and Hawk. And I will turn him into
A person, and he just drops onto the ground naked.
Well, I don't think I can turn him
Oh
into
no,
a
Hawk's wearing
person.
clothes.
I can turn him
Also that.
into. I guess I can turn him in. It says a new form.
Why don't you turn him into a dog so he can play with Aaron?
Yeah, I was
Turn
going
him
to
into a
say,
dog.
like,
Turn
if
him
I
into a
can't
dog. Turn him into a dog.
if I can't turn him into a person or a baby owl bear, I will turn him into a dog.
Okay. Max, what does Hawk look like as a dog?
I think this has happened once before. I think it was specific turn to a corgi that time. I think if it was a choice, he'd probably be like a very brassy looking. That's a good question. I don't know a lot of dog breeds.
Might I make a suggestion?
Sure.
One of those mop dogs, like with the natural lock hair.
I don't know.
Yes, one of those.
Oh, one of those. Yeah, very brassy colored one of those, probably. Just for now. I'll think of something more robust later.
When Toby and Hawk gets turned to a dog, Aaron will bound over to him.
Well, it's Toby and Hawk's body that's getting. Yeah. Oh, Hawk, not and Hawk. My bad.
Yeah. Aaron will bound over and start grooming him. And say, is that better? You feeling good?
Tobias doesn't say anything. He's just basically like hunched over, breathing deeply, shaking and stuff. But it seems he's calming down at least a little
Tamir is
bit.
Yeah. Aaron will
going
just
to
stay curled around him and keep grooming him.
and Tamir
Oh.
is going to sit there petting him as well.
Yeah, Levy was also gonna come over and like sit down, and hold out her hand to Bulk and be like, put your necklace back on.
Well, it's
Just
in the dog now.
in the dog. Okay. Awesome. One with the dog. Okay.
Oh, also Valk's brain kicks in and it's just like, I can fix this. Heroism.
And Levy's just gonna sit with the dog pile.
I will say, after about 10 minutes, in a blink of an eye, you all are back to your regular self.
Is Hawk still polymorphed?
Probably. It lasts for
Right.
an hour, so
Is
Right.
it concentration? No, I don't think so, right?
it is concentration.
Then it would probably break when we change bodies, don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, concentration drops when.
Don't I get to make a concentration check?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you roll for it? I will roll for the BC.
I will say
Oh.
once Levy's back in her own body, she will get over to Tobias and like check
Disadvantage
on
then,
him.
because this is
Oh.
fucking weird.
Well, I rolled a 3, so
All right, yeah, you lose concentration.
All right. When the shift happens, since Tobias curled up, Hawk probably comes to in the Yamcha pose. And then he just gets up.
Tobias just has like this massive gasp of relief as he comes back to his own body. And it's just like running his hands up and down his arms and kind of placing a hand over his chest to feel his own heart and his lungs.
I mean, he does wake up right next to himself, so or to Hawk, so
Oh yeah, Valk wakes up in the cuddle puddle. She just kind of stands up awkwardly, brushes herself off, and is just like, I think I prefer being me.
Hawk sort of like takes off the necklace and passes it back over to Valk.
Valk kind of looks at it, like very bird head position, and it's just like,
This is yours.
I don't think I need it anymore.
You sure?
Even with the molt, I think I'm happier being me instead of not me.
All right. I'll keep it then.
turn into a dog anytime you want.
Well, no, the amulet would just turn him into a person. Human standard. It has one setting. Whatever you look like as a person.
Well, now I'm even more intrigued. What would Hawk
Oh,
look like as a person?
Yeah, what is, what is
I'm
that?
quite curious. I'm quite curious myself. Perhaps we'll find out tonight.
It's at this point that Binora kind of just screeches up from the top of the tree that she's sitting at. Are you done now? Can we go?
Wasn't exactly our choice to be occupied to begin with, but yes, we can.
Levy's checking on Toby.
So is
And-
Hawk. He's very concerned right now.
And is quite glad that Lish was just like, oh, okay.
Lish is now dog and kind of trots over to everybody and kind of sniffs them in turn and is ready to head out.
Tobias, while uncomfortable, is just like, let's just go. Let's just get moving.
Agreed. Sorry you had to go through that.
Levy will
It's fine.
stick. Levy will stick close as security fiance or whatever. Security blanket fiance.
Emotional support fiance.
All right. One
As
more
they
D100, please.
Well, it can't be any more chaotic than this one.
Don't test your luck.
Say that.
Okay, who wants to roll after me saying that?
I'll do it.
I
if no
think
one
you
else
have
wants to.
elected yourself, truly.
Well, if people are
That was-
fine with me rolling a second time,
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
blue is
Wait,
tens.
sorry, I didn't mean to. If
Oh,
someone hasn't had a roll, they should roll.
Yeah. I haven't done it yet. I don't think Felix has. I don't know if Kenzie has.
Well,
no, Kenzie
maybe we
did
should
one.
go with mine
Or
because this
Mackenzie,
is
rather.
really interesting roll.
Kenzie didn't do one. Okay. Sure, I'll go.
Or we could go with my 10, and since I'm a cleric, we can get divine intervention.
Well, 83.
Let's give
Not
someone
how it
else a
works,
chance.
right?
Yeah, I got 83.
83.
83. Or depending, or if you want to read it incorrectly, 103.
Okay. As you
No,
guys
803 rather.
continue to traverse the woods, a cold mist starts to creep into the surrounding area. And I would like everyone but Hawk to make a Constitution saving throw.
I was wondering when this would come into handy.
People get bonuses when they're next to either me or Hawk.
What kind of bonuses are we talking about?
It's saving throw bonus equal to our charisma stats. Mine's 2. I think Valk's is 3, so probably use the 3.
And what's the range on that again?
I think it's 10 feet.
Yeah, 10 feet.
I'm probably too far from Volk for that.
Okay,
So
you
I
can
get
use
a
my 2
plus
then.
2 at least.
Yeah,
Tobias
because Valk's in the
would've
back,
been-
Hawk's in the front.
Yeah, Tobias would have been near the back, so he would have been close fuck. So, do you mean that adds on to our
Yep,
saving
you just
throw?
get an extra plus 3 if you're in the back of the party, or plus 2 if you're in the front at the
Okay.
moment.
That's a 19 for me.
Paladin, baby.
Total of 21.
Tobias got a 17.
Constitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be a 14.
I got a natural 1.
Okay.
Well, at least I'm not alone.
All right. Anyone who got a 17 or lower, you inhale the mist and start to see strange, illusory duplicates, like shadowy duplicates of the hag in random places at random times. It looks like she's looking at you from within the trees or in the distance or further down beyond the path, and she's never in the same place at the same time. But she just seems to be watching you, and she's not doing anything, but it's unsettling, to say the least. I will also note that there's still the weird shadows and the strange figurines and fetishes and dolls all around in the trees.
Does
Demir
this?
is. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna ask if this is either a charm or a frighten effect, or if it's just an illusion.
It's an illusion.
Okay, never mind.
What was
Demir
the number to
17.
17, okay.
17 or lower.
Okay, so Tobias would have failed.
Demir is tapping Lish's arm and like just gesturing towards where she sees the hag.
You're tapping Lish's back because he's still the dog.
Oh, right. I forgot he's a dog, but yeah, she's tapping his back, tapping him.
So we can see a hag.
You can't.
Is it our hag?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be Nerafine, for those of you that failed. The rest of you don't see anything. I mean, there's still some mist, but it just seems like a misty forest. And I will also note at this point that the woods are getting a little swampier. More like, in Princess Mononoke, where when he sees the forest spirit for the first time, there's that area with the huge trees and moss everywhere, and the footprints and lots of large bodies of water. Starting to get more like that in terms of terrain.
Does our guide seem to acknowledge this hag lady?
Nope.
She's just continuing to progress farther forward.
Yes.
How far away is our illusory hag? Close?
I mean, she seems to be there and gone in the blink of an eye. She's at different places. She's everywhere and nowhere at once.
Seems a little fake.
It seems a little cringe. Oh, fuck tits.
Cringe. Lish will just kind of nose Demir and kind of gesture forward and continue following our harpy guide.
All right. It's once again getting closer to the evening, to night. Even though the sun is cresting in the sky, normally you would expect there to be some form of sunlight filtering through the leaves of the trees around you, but there doesn't seem to be anything. As you get closer, those of you that are more perceptive start to pick up on a strange stench of decay as Vinora gets closer to this, I'd say about 10, 15 foot tall hedge of thick razor vine in a roughly circular area. And she skirts around this and lands in front of an old rusted iron gate. Announces that you've arrived. That is where we will call session for the day.
Hooray!
We made it.
That was a fun-ass little surprise of the body swap.
That was really cool, honestly.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Why?
And everyone's Gucci until you remember that only one person doesn't need to breathe.
All right. Well, thanks for playing, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
hosting.
you
Looking
for
forward to next week.
terrifying me more than my paper does right now. So,
Can I say I like spooky things?
Spoopy.
Delightfully spoopy.
Anyway, thanks for playing, guys.
Thank you for DMing.
And
Thank
we will
you.
see you next time.
Peace out.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.